Hello, beautifuls. This is Arum here, and welcome back to Cinderella Phenomenon. So it's been a while since I last recorded this, but of course, to you guys, it doesn't look like that. But I had to rewatch a little bit of my last episode that you guys saw, and I believe what's his name? Karma. It's not Karma. I forgot his real name. Claude. Was it Claude? Claude? It's upset. Fine, but keep your guard up, princess. I watch her 2 nights as I head back. I see Garland put his arm around Jurian's waist, pulling her closer. I turn away from the sight, ignoring the heavy feeling in my stomach, because I'm pure jealous. I just practice the swings for 5 more minutes. The only thing I can hear in the clearing while I practice is my shallow breathing in the wind in my ears. Something breaks my concentration, however. I see a glimmer of color in the forest and I instantly stop, my hands growing tense on the wooden sword. What was that? I glance around at my surroundings and then I freeze when I feel a hand on my shoulder. I can feel someone's breath on my neck. That's not very comforting. This all feels familiar. Is this Claude? Well, I remember that he told us to not be too comfortable. So turn and point your sword at him, correct? I'm pretty sure I recognize Claude's hand, but because I know it's him, I also know what he'd want me to do. I dug away from his hand and turned quickly to point my sword. The tip of the wood is at his neck, and for a few stunned moments, I think I've won. Even Claude looks surprised. It's really him. But then Claude's hand has moved and he has one hand over my wrist and the other on my sword. Yes! Alright, I was right! Okay. But what is he doing here? Good, Michiko, you realized you had an opening, but you broke your concentration. Claude removes his hand, allowing me to lower my sword. I'm sorry, Michiko. I feel my breath catch in my throat when Claude holds out the rose pendant that I got for him. I feel my cheeks flush. Oh! He accidentally left this beautiful thing in my room when I came to return it. Return it? Yes, you left it in my room, and so I only thought it's appropriate to bring it back to you. Does he really think I left it there on accident? Why would I leave it in your room on accident? What? I bought it for you, and I wanted to give it to you, but you were acting so strangely, and Claude's eyes widened, the surprise clear on his face. Michiko, you bought this for me? Why does he look so shocked? Claude looks at me in awe for a few moments. His eyes go back down to the locket. He traces a finger around the intricate shape, his eyebrows slowly furrowing. It's to thank you for everything that you've done for me. Chico, this is beautiful. Did he not look what's inside of it? He lets the chain fall through his fingers as he stares at the rose pendant with adoration? Or adoration. That does not sound correct. I feel my heartbeat stutter as he turns to regard me with the same gentle smile. He leans forward and my breathing stops as he reaches out to hold up my glass slipper necklace. He's standing so close to me. Oh, I'm blushing so hardcore. Yes. You really are a good person, Michiko. You completed your second good deed. I think some kind of congratulations is in order. Is there anything you want that I can give to you? I look up at him and notice that Claude's smile doesn't reach his eyes. He still looks sad. Looks so sad. Not just sad, so sad. I want you to smile. Okay, I feel like there's so much that I want from Claude, but I do not want to ask for something that might make him sad. I want a hug. I always love hugs in games. Is this a good choice or bad choice? Huh? Claude looks at me in surprise. He thinks I am being foolish for making such a request, doesn't he? I shouldn't have said anything. But before I can say anything, Claude takes a step forward and wraps me in his arms. He pulls me towards him, and in those moments of silence, all I can hear is his heartbeat resounding in his chest. I can feel his warmth all around me, and his fingers clasp gently at my back. I feel so strange. My heart is racing and my knees feel weak. Yay! Yay! I love hugs. If the hug was not the correct answer, I was going to be really sad. Something like this. Aww. He speaks right into my ear. It's a surprisingly pleasant feeling. Suddenly, Claude makes a noise of distress as he steps away from me. All of the warmness that was pressed against me 1 moment ago is gone. God, what was that? Karma suddenly stops, eyes wide. He puts his hand on his chest and takes a step away from me, his fingers clutching at the fabric of his shirt. Eh? What's wrong? Claude has a pained expression on his face, only making me more anxious. Not now. Claude, are you okay? What's wrong? Michiko, don't worry about it. He lowers his hand with the pained smile slowly fading from his face. This does little to reassure me. Was it my fault you were locked in your room for so long? He just looks so pained to be anywhere near me. No, most definitely not. I was feeling under the weather, and also bitter. Bitter? Why would he feel bitter? Because you're so far ahead and he's not? But it's not for you to worry about, darling. For now, we should head back. It's late and you need rest. I just got back from patrol, so I would like to rest as well. Is there anything else I can do for you? No, sweet Michiko, you've already done enough for me. He clutches the rose locket to his chest and sighs out a little with a gentle smile. The smile feels real to me. This is a beautiful gift, and I will treasure it always. Thank you, Michiko. Now, shall we head back? I nod at him and we silently walk back to the Marchen. When we make it back to the tavern, I feel tired, but also lighter than I have for a few weeks. Claude wishes me a good night before slowly walking off to his room, holding the rose locket I gave him tightly. What's going on with him? Today I'm walking around town to do some errands with Claude. It has been quite a while since we have done this. Though we are here to run errands, there is also something else that drew me into town today. Yesterday, Waltz came back to the Marchen and told us of an announcement the king was making today. Apparently that announcement had been posted for at least a week's time, but Waltz had only caught onto it after hearing about it from the crowds after one of his puppet shows. I'm not sure what this announcement entails, but I feel that I need to see the king make it with my own eyes. I can see more people milling about than usual, which means most of them must be waiting for the king to speak. I have a bad feeling about this. It is not strange for the king to make announcements, but this feels so sudden. And with everything else that happened to me, I feel on edge. Wow, Michiko, you made these bags sound a lot lighter than they'd actually be. Stop complaining, Miss Karma. You get valuable experience out of carrying bags. Seeing Claude complain is amusing, especially since I know he can handle the load. I feel like a servant. What does that make me when you made me carry all those bags before? An assistant? I roll my eyes at him. We're both working at the Marchen, you know. And then the thought strikes me. What do you even do at the Marchen? Paul looks surprised at my question, but then he quickly smiles at me. I train the knights, of course. I also attract customers with my beautiful reputation. I start laughing, and Claude's face flushes. Darling, I get the feeling you're laughing at me. I wonder. We finish up the rest of our errands and then sit down in the town plaza to rest. Claude leaves briefly and then returns with a slice of cake for both of us to share as a snack. I have a lot of things I want to ask him, and now feels like the right time to do so. May I ask you a question? Of course, darling, anything. Do you enjoy dressing like a woman? I don't mind it, really. I appreciate the beauty in anything. You girls get to wear quite an assortment of lovely dresses and makeup. It's quite beautiful, but also quite expensive, Claude. I feel more comfortable in my own clothes, but I don't mind dresses. I guess if you've had to wear a dress for so long, you get used to it. I have another question. And what would that be? When I was in your room the other day, you spoke about a woman. You talking about the witch who cursed you? Oh no, the woman I was talking about. Suddenly goes silent and lowers his head. His expression fades into something more melancholy. I'll tell you guys a secret. I used to read that word as melancholy. Melancholy? No, that's correct. I forgot. I read it completely wrong before, and then I heard people saying this word, and I was like, oh, that's how you read it? Anyway, and I feel my heart lurch. Maybe I shouldn't have brought this up. To my surprise, Claude continues talking. Shortly after I came to Angeli, there was a woman that I met whose smile was as radiant as sunshine. She was beautiful, and when she laughed, everything felt right about the world. Hearing him talk about her makes me uncomfortable. Am I jealous? I would. Claude watches me quietly as if he is measuring my expression. Eventually, he goes back to speaking. I knew her for many months. Time passed, and I thought we were truly in love, and then I... He goes silent for a few moments, his eyes distant, his expression pained. Well, some things happened, and I realized she only loved me because of my curse. She was drawn to me just as any other woman is. It seems so genuine in comparison to the other woman, but in the end, Walt trails off and lets out an exasperated sigh. You were truly in love with her. I was. I've dated many women, but I've never fallen in love with someone who has honestly loved me back. So then the last person he loved was that one woman. Walt looks at me for a few moments. He doesn't speak. Ichigo, do you mind if I ask you a question? Oh, I don't feel comfortable. No, I don't mind. Have you ever loved anyone? Mother, of course. I was referring to a romantic kind of love. Romantic kind of love. What does that kind of love feel like? Allow me to enlighten you. Oh, okay. He smiles at me and it's surprisingly genuine. It can feel simultaneously like floating and sinking. Your heart stutters and you worry about small things, about offending this other person in some way. You wonder if they'll like what you're wearing, or if they would prefer a sandwich to a casserole when you treat them for dinner. You begin to find beauty in all the things that they do. Their presence makes you feel complete in a way you had never thought of before. You try to imagine life without that person and find that you cannot. To even consider such a thing is painful, so much so that it feels like it might break your heart. Plot continues talking, but my mind is already whirling. Though he phrases things in a way that still feels unnecessarily dramatic, I feel a tinge of familiarity. The things he's describing, those are the things I feel when I am with him. Before I can say anything, we hear the sound of hooves or hooves, and the both of us turn. I can see a procession of knights along with the king on his horse. He normally rides into town like this, but today he's not smiling, and there are way too many knights riding with him. And is that Sir Alcaster? Oh, he looks evil. Let us go find a place to stand and watch. As you wish. Blood walks with me into the crowd gathering around the king, and we find a spot to spectate at the very edge, closer to the alleyways. My beloved citizens of Angeli, I have come before you today to make an important announcement. Ever since I was given this crown, I have sworn to live my life for the people and to rule in all fairness, so that our kingdom can enjoy great peace. The crowd breaks into applause. I stare at the king, an uneasy feeling in my stomach when I notice that there is sadness in his eyes, though he is smiling. Then I notice Sir Alcaster appears to be hiding a smile. I do not like where this is going. The king's speech goes on for long minutes after that, with him detailing the commitments he made, goals he set, and finally his love for the people. The audience around us claps and cheers, but Claude and I are silent. Something is not right. I nod in response. To this day, I keep this promise. I would never break this oath, for it is the foundation on which I rule. The audience claps again, but I am silent, watching the king intently. Unfortunately, the unwelcome news that I bring you today gives me reason to hand this foundation over to someone else. I have fallen terminally ill. Whoa, what? The king's proclamation is met with shocked and angry chattering from the audience. I cannot hear anything that is being said over the cacophony of voices, but I know that the audience is dissenting. I stiffen as I stare at the king. It's lying. I can tell by the firm set of his jaw and the way his eyes flicker across the crowd faster than they ought to. The king has lied to me so many times before that I can recognize when he doesn't. I know that this is unfortunate news, must come as a shock, but this is an illness for which there is no current cure. As for the question of my successor, he trails off for a few moments, and I think I see something in his eyes that hints at urgency, but I am not sure why. Crown Princess Emmy is unmarried and still too young to rule on her own. I feel a pang of irritation and confusion. Another lie. Emmy could rule just fine with the help of Sir Mithras and others. After much thought, I have come to the conclusion that our kingdom, which still continues to face danger from the witches, is best put in the capable hands of the commander of the Order of Caldera, Sir Alcaster. What about, Rod? That's his name, right? The prince. I thought usually it goes to the prince, not a princess. Unless it's going by Otis, then that's different. What? I cannot hide my shock. The rest of the audience reacts similarly. Their sudden outburst is testament to their confusion. While I will be providing support and assistance from the sidelines, I cannot in all good grace continue to wear this crown when I know I cannot serve my people as they deserve. Simply put, I believe that the witches have gained more power in the recent months, and that Sir Alcaster is best suited to deal with these conflicts. The fairy tale curse runs more rampant these days, and there have been more reports of incidents involving magic. The murmuring continues, except now the townsfolk sound panicked. This cannot be true! I do not miss the reluctance in the king's next words. Sir Alcaster has also suggested a number of remedies to our laws, especially concerning our security and work hours. I believe that Sir Alcaster can better rule this country in these turbulent times. Please show him all the love and loyalty he has shown me. No? That bastard. Claude has a foul expression on his face, and his words feel heavy, even in a low whisper. I know the king. He takes every duty upon himself, and he would never hand his crown to someone else. When Sir Alcaster comes to stand on the podium, he silences them with a glare. Citizens of Angeli, I swear to you that I will serve you as well as Gennaro has. That being said, I also believe some changes will need to be made. Sir Alcaster continues to speak. He mentions things like curfews for safety, extended work hours, and additional taxes to go towards the knights, but I am slowly beginning to block out the drone of his voice. What is going on? Sir, no. Alcaster must have done something to force the king into the charade. The king stands behind Alcaster with his hands clasped, his eyes alert, but there is a helplessness to them that I have never seen before. It isn't long before the crowd's unsettled murmuring becomes agitated whispering. I am stunned when Claude cups his hand in his mouth and starts shouting. There's only one king! King Gennaro! Claude grips my hand and starts leading me around the outskirts so that people cannot spot him as he continues to shout. The crowd begins to chant along with Claude, and then they draw nearer to the stage where my father and Alcaster are standing. There's only one king, King Gennaro! They're repeating it. Let's go, Michiko. The crowd is right next to the platform now, and the chant carries on. Claude pulls me behind him, but my mind is on my father and on his desperate eyes. This is not good. Hours later, the Merchant's Tavern is chaotic. People are talking over each other, trying to relay the scene that they saw in town today. Every visitor here is talking about what they witnessed. I have been in a corner of the room this entire time, trying to understand everyone but failing. Delora and Parfait are not here to calm all of this chaos. Hey, Princess. How are you feeling? I almost jump when I hear Rumpel's voice. Surprised? I can feel when a damsel is in distress, milady. I'm really not in the mood for your flirting, Rumpel. Oh, my apologies. I thought you might have wanted some cheering up. Where's your partner? He went out to town to survey the situation. Carmen doesn't do anything around the tavern, but he does a whole lot for you, doesn't he? I suppose that's the least a man in love can do. Ooh! I feel myself blush. What is Rumpel going on about? Princess, you're pink. I am not. My mind feels all scrambled now. This is all Rumpel's fault. Thankfully, before Rumpel can continue talking, the door opens and Delora walks inside to call the marching boarders into the reception room. When I step into the reception room, I'm surprised to see two familiar figures standing beside Parfait. Oh! Does she have a curse? Emmy and Rod. Both of them look downtrodden and discouraged. Everyone is noticeably shocked as they step inside. The prince and princess. Where did they come from? What is happening at the palace? What of Queen Ophelia? Oh, wait! Yeah! Well, where's the wife? We need silence in the room, everyone. Sorry. Delora raises her voice, effectively causing everyone to pause. She glances at Parfait, who nods, and then turns to look at Rod and Emmy. Princess Emmy, if you would tell everyone what you told Delora and I. The room is unnaturally quiet as Emmy begins her story. She starts with the events of 1 week ago. In the middle of a family dinner, Alcaster burst in with soldiers and seized her, Rod and Ophelia in front of the king. Sir Alcaster said that if the king didn't hand over his crown, he would kill us. We had no idea a coup would be staged. The three of them were taken down to their prison cells, with Ophelia taken to a separate cell. Sir Fitzgerald helped us escape, but only just barely. Fritz, are you openly disobeying your father? I hope that he's safe. Oh, Fritz is bae. Alcaster wanted to kill the king. I'm sure that he still will. But he has no reason to. The king has already handed over his crown. I speak before even realizing everyone stares at me, including Rod and Emmy. Alcaster is a foul man. I only think he usurped the throne now without violence because he wants less resistance from the people. He never spoke up to my father before. Did you just say father? It's a long story, Em. Em looks between Rod and I, her expression confused. You know each other. You. Em looks like she wants to say something, but she remains silent. Our mother is still inside the palace. We need to save her somehow, and Sir Fitzgerald. What happened to Fritz? We don't know. He helped us escape, but we were spotted at the last minute. He told us to run ahead and leave him behind. We didn't see him again after that, and we couldn't just wait, so Rod brought me here. Right now, we need to piece together this situation as quickly as we can, and then we need to figure out a way to save the king. I knew Alcaster was up to something, but I never thought it would escalate into this. Jurian, what do you know about this? Garla and I weren't stripped of our titles because we disobeyed Alcaster's orders. It was because we overheard Alcaster plotting something and tried to tell the king of his plot. We gave him a warning, but the king did not believe us, not with Alcaster and Mithras whispering in his ears. The king didn't think Alcaster was possible with such a betrayal. He thought we were trying to turn him against Alcaster for our own again. And so Alcaster stripped us of our titles and banished us from the palace. Lady Parfait found us, and while we were happy to help out at the tavern, we also intended to eventually do something about the mess in the palace. So Alcaster has been planning to do this all this time. Savagery. When we part for the night, Parfait and Delora take Rod and Emmy to a room that they can share. It has been decided that they will be harbored here at the Marchant, a place that Emmy apparently knew about but never came to because she wasn't cursed. Well, Rod did say that his family knew he was cursed. I noticed Emmy looking at me many times throughout the night, but she never asked me anything. The next few days are a muddled mess. Everyone is busy trying to find out what happened and what can be done to help the king. I am sweeping the tavern half-heartedly one day, my thoughts on everything but my chores. Everyone's been trying to do something to help out the last few days. Though I've gotten on quite a few trips into town with Claude to search for information, I haven't been able to find much. I feel useless. So useless. Not just useless, so useless. I am finally on my break, so I decide to go into the reception room to rest. When I step inside, I notice Emmy sitting on the couch. She waves me over as soon as she sees me. She hasn't really openly spoken to me since she has been here. Parfait and Delora have been trying to hide her so as not to cause a ruckus in the Marchant. Rumors are dangerous now. You're Michiko, right? Yes. Rod told me about your curse. He said that you're the king's blood daughter. I'm really sorry. I'm shocked by Emmy's sudden outburst. What? I didn't mean to, but... oh, hello? I didn't mean to, but I took your place. Okay, there you go. I couldn't read for some reason. How could I forget my own sister? We're not blood related. That doesn't matter. I will love you regardless. Emmy was always trying to take me out and do things with me, but back when I was still in the palace, I distanced myself from her because I thought the king loved her more than he loved me. I still think that maybe he does. We weren't close. I barely spoke to you or to Rod. Didn't he tell you that? He did. But perhaps now we can turn over a new leaf. Emmy is as stubborn as always. I have more things to worry about than being her friend. I have to go. I walk off before the conversation can continue. If I hadn't been cursed and remained in the palace, would Sir Alcaster have taken me hostage too? Knowing my sassy main character, that won't happen. The hours tick by, and as the tavern is empty for the day, Delora calls everyone together to explain what she and Parfait have pieced together about the situation. Alright everyone, we'll come upon some new information. The first is that Alcaster has cracked down on the riots in town. Anyone seen protesting his rule is thrown in prison. The kings always value the people's opinion. Alcaster does not want opinions. He only wants to rule with an iron fist. Our patrols have shown that there is overall more security in the palace and around the town. They have been charged with keeping people quiet in whatever ways they possibly can. As we heard from the prince and princess, things are most turbulent in the palace. The king is still alive, but it's unlikely he will stay that way for very long. One thing is clear, given Alcaster's motive to take over the kingdom, I doubt he will rest until the king is dead. King's men have turned against him, and even if there are loyal soldiers still left in the palace, we cannot contact them right now. And I'm pretty sure they'll be dead by then. Rescuing the king and queen will be on us then. We just so happen to have people in this tavern that have a shot at rescuing them. Since Rod has the key to the secret passage we can use to break into the palace. Secret passageway? Only the king and the commander of the night had the key to that passage, so how did they get a copy? Who's going to join us on this mission? Jurian and Garland both volunteer immediately, followed shortly by Claude and Waltz. I'll go too. The room goes quiet as I step forward and volunteer. Princess, we can't just allow you to put yourself in danger. I look at Claude, who is staring at me shocked. I took up the sword so I could protect those I care about. Princess, you don't have nearly enough practice. But I can help. I still have time to learn. I agree with Parfait, Princess. This palace isn't the place for you to try out your newfound sword skills. Then you may as well chain me up, because I refuse to stay here while you all go save the king. Princess. The king is my father, you know. Well, she has been practicing with the rest of us. Don't encourage her, Jurian. But it's not like any of us can stop her anyway. You're right, the princess is quite stubborn. Thanks. Claude agrees with Jurian, but I can tell that he does not like the idea of me going along with them. If only we had the time to get reinforcements from Karma's country. Karma's country? Brigantia. How is it possible that a Brigantian citizen can simply ask for reinforcements? Karma is the crown prince of Brigantia. I have to space it together. Can't read it together for some reason. There's some shuffling in the room as everyone turns to gawk at Claude. Rumple, Anise, Rod, and Emmy all look shocked by this revelation. You're the lost prince. Lost prince. Sounds like such a tragedy, doesn't it? Anise suddenly looks distressed as she fiddles her thumbs. All this time and I never knew. I'm so sorry, Your Highness. There's no need for formalities, Anise. But I'm the lost prince after all. I keep my lineage a secret because right now I am just a normal commoner. But you're the prince! Couldn't you have still asked for reinforcements? Even if I did ask for reinforcements, I'm pretty sure they would never come in time. Besides, I can't go back to my kingdom yet. I cannot go back while he's still cursed. The conversation continues in a more solemn tone. Eventually, we start speaking of our plan to enter the palace. When the details are all finalized, I repeat everything myself to make certain that I know what is meant to happen. Waltz will lead us to the palace then, and Jurian and Garland will follow right behind him, watching for the most immediate enemies. Leave it to us. We'll deal with any resistance before it touches you, Princess. And Karma will be watching from the back, along with Delora. I want you to Prince for a backup. Delora smiles wryly. Claude rolls his shoulders. I like to think of us as more the closing act. Though, if all goes according to plan, we will have no need for either the opening or closing act. It is a small task force, which is better. The smaller the better. The last thing we want is to be noticed. We decide to meet again over the course of the next week to finalize our plan and carefully survey the situation in town before parting. Claude has taken to training me, Jurian and Garland at the same time. Just the other day he had all of us attack him together. Even though I'm nowhere near as good as a trained knight, I still managed to hit him once. Hey, hitting once is better than none. I feel like things are coming to some sort of conclusion, and yet I still haven't done 3 good deeds. Today we finalized our plans for getting to the palace. We have mapped out where the king and Ophelia must be in the prisons, where the king might be positioned, and how we plan on sneaking in. I sit down on my bed and am about to lay down when I hear something. Hello, love. No, hi. My, you're rad. Were you thinking about me? I noticed that he has one hand on his chest tonight, but then he has been doing that more often lately. I noticed it during practices and sometimes when I catch his eyes. Is he sick? Oh no, please don't die on me. Darling. Don't call me darling. What's wrong? I shake myself at the sound of Claude's voice. What if I was changing? You could have knocked. Well, you didn't seem to have a problem when you walked in on me changing without announcing yourself. That's different. He strolls inside and steps closer to me. He smiles at me mischievously. Oh, How so? Cat got your tongue? Claude shakes his head, his smile softening. I really didn't mean to come in to disturb you. I just have something important I need to say to you. Claude kneels in front of me and furrows his eyebrows. Huh? I want to insist you reconsider going to the palace with us. As Perfet and Delora have said many times, it would be dangerous. Well, we're gonna stop here though. Sorry guys, I know this part is so, a cliffhanger for you guys. But for those that already played this game, you already know what's gonna happen. But don't spoil in the comment section. I have no idea if some people have not played this yet. Not yes. But, I feel like this is about to be over. This game is about to end. I feel like our last piece is to save our father, because he was the reason why we were so bitter to begin with. So I feel like it just makes sense if our last piece is to save our father. But if it's not, then damn. I'm not a good puzzle solver then. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. Stay beautiful, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.